Hello, YouTubers. This is Optimus Prime G1. And before I begin, I'd like to remind you to help beat that YouTube algorithm by hitting that like and subscribe button and share out the video. Because only together can we beat the evil that is the YouTube algorithm. Today, I'll be playing a Star Wars game while discussing a little bit of Star Wars and the game as well. I wanted to start by introducing the game I'm playing. I'm currently playing Star Wars Galaxies, which was also known as SWG. Many fans played this from the time it was started, which was the opening of the servers on the 26th of June 2003. That was the official opening of all the official servers, and most people joined the game, played it, and had some issues with it. Because of the issues, the game didn't. It lasted pretty long, but not as long as it could have if they didn't have issues with the game. Because on the 15th of December 2011, all the official servers were shut down. Now, if the official servers are shut down, how am I playing this game? Well, I am playing this game on a fan server that is Star Wars Galaxies Legends. And this server is a fan server. There's many other ones out there as well. It started with SWGEMU project, which is the emulator project, and that's where the whole thing got started at. And there have been offshoots of that since. People were able to get the code from SWGEMU because it is a source code that's available for anybody who wants to try to take that and use it, because they can't proprietize it because the Star Wars Galaxies brand is proprietary already, so you can't prioritize the backwards engineering of that server system. So, yeah, so there are other ones out there. If you'd like to learn more about Star Wars Galaxies, you can go to the Star Wars Galaxies the wiki page, or you can go to Star Wars Galaxies Legends website, which all will be linked down in the description below. As time permits, I may also go over the game a little bit, my impressions of the game when I first played it, and how I play the game now. I might do that after this, as time permits, after I do a little bit of Star Wars and Ahsoka discussion. What follows will be a spoiler-free discussion of Ahsoka and Star Wars in general, not a review of any particular episode of Ahsoka. I've been watching the Ahsoka show, and so far, in general, I like the show. The show is true to the characters of the Rebels series and the Clone Wars series that are in the show. I don't see what all the hate's about, because the characters are treated very well in the show. I don't know any difference between watching the Clone Wars, watching Rebels, and how the characters are treated there and how they're treated in Ahsoka. I know there was a lot of backlash when the original movies came out, and a lot of people were saying how the fans were upset with the newer Star Wars movies because the main character was a female, and it must be because the general audience doesn't like strong female characters. And I would say, well, that's not true, because if that were true, Ahsoka would not get all the love that she does from the fans. And most people love the character of Ahsoka and what she brought to the table. And if that were anywhere near the case, you wouldn't have this love for the character. A lot of love for the character comes from fans who didn't quite like the character originally, because in the Clone Wars, the TV show, the character of Anakin all of a sudden had a Padawan, and there was no mention of Padawan in any media before this. So him having all of a sudden a Padawan was confusing to a lot of people. However, as the show went on, people loved the character of Ahsoka. She was not just a one-dimensional character. She was a character that evolved as the show went on. She went from being just a snarky little person that seemed to know it all, to actually realizing that she didn't have all the answers, and that she had to listen to the others around her. So yeah, Ahsoka grew. And with that, the fans loved her. And when the character was brought back in Rebels, the character had even evolved in more and became an even more interesting character as she worked with Ezra and showed him holocrons of when Anakin was younger and was training. And so she got to pass that bit on to the next generation, which was Ezra. Since Star Wars was bought by Disney, Star Wars has been in a weird place, and so has the fan base. some of the fan base went after the actors and producers of the new movies, like really went after them. And in turn, the people at Lucasfilm and Disney went after the fans. And neither side really put themselves in their best light on that stage. And due to this, I think the fan base is an all-time low right now because of the new movies, the way that was treated, the way the fans felt that the movies were treated, the way that the production studio at Lucasfilm felt that the movies were treated by the fans. So there was this weird stalemate right now between Lucas and the fan base. And I think this series could actually bridge that if people gave it a chance to see there is something good out there in Star Wars. I mean, you had The Mandalorian, you had Boba Fett, you had Obi-Wan, and you had Andor. A lot of people didn't feel that those really represented the best of Star Wars because a lot of people didn't feel like they felt like Star Wars. To me, they did, but that's my own opinion, and I didn't really mind the movies as much, but people had a problem with the movies. But this is different because it actually brings back characters from the Rebels, brings back characters from Clone Wars, characters that people liked and loved. And this, I think, if people give it a chance, they will love this show. So far, what I've seen, it's very good. It's amazing. It's like almost like the original movies brought back. Right now, what Star Wars needs is something to bring the fans together, and the fact that it has characters from Clone Wars and Rebels, and there is in the trailers there is Thrawn, which was from the original Timothy Zahn trilogy that actually re-energized people into Star Wars back in the 90s before even the prequels came out. You have a lot of stuff coming together that could really unify the community and bring people back to Star Wars. And I think this will all help, and I think you should give it a chance, give it a shot, give it a worth. It's worth your watch. And if this doesn't help persuade you, watch some other videos and see what you think about those ones. I do want to tell you the other ones are more spoilers than this, so keep that in mind. Now, I'm not saying that the new movies were great. I'm saying I do like them, but I do know they had flaws. Don't worry, I know they have flaws. I know that they weren't perfect, and to go into that would introduce spoilers into this spoiler-free review, so I can't really go into that. But I can say yes, they were flawed. But the original movies were flawed too. They weren't perfect. They had flaws. Even the prequels had flaws, and people love the prequels. Some people love them. Some people hate them. But majority of people love the original Star Wars. Episode 4 was like what really started all, obviously, because that was the first movie, and it wasn't even called Episode 4 then. And that did have flaws, and that I'll go into detail because that's not going to be a spoiler. Because if you're watching this, obviously you've seen the original Star Wars, and the original Star Wars had plot armor for the main heroes, and that's something that people complain about. All the other things is there's so much plot armor. Well, there was so much plot armor in the original one. You had stormtroopers that could not hit anything, even after Obi-Wan had said that stormtroopers were very precise shots, and yet in the following what do you call them, shots of the movie, you see them that they can't hit anything. So how are they precise shots and can't hit anything? That either Obi-Wan was lying, or the heroes have huge plot armor. And that's a thing in the original ones that wasn't written well, but it's still there. But so if you're going to argue about certain things of the new writing, you have to go back to the original writing. And this follows the original writing. And with this following the original writing, it's almost like watching something that was originally developed way back when. All the movies have followed that same type of writing. So, yeah. Like, again, I say, give this show a watch. It's worth your time. At least I believe it is. But that's all I have to say about that for now. So I'll turn my focus back to the game I'm playing. I am currently playing the Star Wars Galaxies game on the Star Wars Galaxies Legends fan server. There are many fan servers, as I mentioned earlier, and this is but one of them. I play on here mainly because I can play the space version of the game, and I play as an Imperial pilot, which gives you TIE fighters and TIE interceptors, and eventually I'll get to a TIE defender when I open that, which I have not yet. When I first got the game back in 2003, I was excited for the servers, and when they opened it was not the most interesting thing right away, but obviously it had to build up some more stuff in it by having more players join and make some content. Because when the players make content, there's stuff at the bazaars you can buy, which is a marketplace for the players to buy stuff, and there is an in-game marketplace. I Remember when we first got the marketplace, we had mob drops, which basically looted items from fallen enemies, and everybody had that. So back going to the marketplace, nobody basically sold any of it. I believe there were junk dealers and things you could sell stuff to make money, but you could also do missions. And if you didn't complete a mission, you'd make credits for that. So, and a lot of these, you didn't even have land vehicles yet, if I remember correctly. That didn't come till later. Um, there may have been one or two land vehicles. I don't remember. It's been so long. And anyway, that was how the game started. Once the game got going, you had the marketplace, and you had people who would put bots in the star ports like you're seeing here. This is a star port, and all you see is spammed messages in the chat there. That chat is where that green is on the screen there. You'd see spam in there about where you can go buy merchandise, what location you can go, and on that planet. Each planet had their own, so and that would be spammed. And one of the good things about the newer one, which I don't know if it's good or bad, but I think it's good, is you don't get all that newer ones because that's calmed down by the people who own those servers. They don't allow that. So you go in there, it seems a little more dead, but then again, there aren't a lot of players also on these servers either. Not anywhere near what it was at capacity at the height of the game. So yeah, but it is fun getting back into this, and I'm going to try play more and getting more into the game, and I plan on streaming this eventually. So yeah, that's this game, and that's the Star Wars discussion. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for today. I want to thank everybody who was able to watch this video, and until next time, game on.